1.5 million soldiers stand in absolute silence across the plain of Kurukshetra. This is the setting for the most significant conflict in ancient history, where the warrior prince Arjuna sits in his chariot, completely paralyzed by the heavy psychological weight of the coming slaughter. Standard religious interpretations frame the figure beside him, Krishna, as a spiritual guide offering comfort. However, the political reality of the texts suggests a different persona, a strategist who spent years engineering this specific confrontation. Every alliance and broken treaty leading to this day was a move in a long-term calculation. Krishna deliberately maneuvered these massive warring factions into a single location to resolve the power struggle of the subcontinent in one stroke. By viewing this event only through a moral lens, we overlook the geopolitical opportunity. This was the moment the ancient world could have consolidated into a single, unified power structure. Krishna's strategic goal was the total unification of the Indian subcontinent. To achieve a stable, centralized state, he needed to permanently dismantle the system of competing regional kings. He possessed the tactical means to seize control himself. Instead, he made a decision that prioritized the personal salvation of his cousin, Arjuna, over the immediate establishment of a central throne. Acting as a mentor to a reluctant king, rather than taking power as a supreme emperor, created a leadership vacuum. This choice ensured that once the war ended, the region would eventually return to a state of fragmentation. The strategic delay begins the moment Arjuna drops his bow, the Gandiva, refusing to fight. Krishna responds by delivering hours of metaphysical philosophy. On a live battlefield with millions of troops mobilized, this pause is an immense tactical risk, compromising the momentum of the strike. This diagram shows the cost of hesitation. While Krishna speaks, the enemy Kaurava hierarchy remains intact. On the other side, the Pandava chain of command breaks at the top level, leaving the front line inactive and dependent. Pausing an active operation for a crisis of conscience is a failure of efficiency. The objective is victory, not therapy. In an optimized scenario, Krishna removes Arjuna from the chain of command, taking direct control of the Pandava forces. He drops the chariot reins and deploys his own weaponry, the Sudarshana disc, before the enemy can organize a defense. He utilizes the technical advantages of his own Yadava clan, including psycho-acoustic weapons like the Panchajanya Kanch, to incapacitate the enemy ranks through sonic overwhelm. This shift turns a family war into a systemic purge. It removes any local leader who could oppose centralized imperial administration. By establishing an unchallenged global dictatorship, Krishna creates a state where the advanced sciences described in Vedic texts can be developed without the interruption of regional wars or religious suppression. This blueprint illustrates Avamana, a craft mentioned in ancient accounts. In this timeline, the state successfully decodes the physics of the quantum field, referred to as prana, to build a centralized energy grid bypassing fossil fuels. With a permanent, stable administration, the state implements a meritocracy based on genetic and psychological profiling, ensuring individuals are assigned to roles in programming or security that match their biological optimization. This stability shifts the global center of power. While the Roman Empire remains a small agrarian province, Dwaraka becomes a levitating technological capital, preserving the knowledge of the ancient world through a single, unbroken lineage of control. Instead of the centuries of fragmentation and resource loss that followed the historical war, this scenario sees the industrialization of Vedic science occurring 4 millennia ahead of schedule. In reality, Krishna withdrew from the physical world, leaving the governance of the empire to the Pandava brothers. The empire began to dissolve almost immediately. The new rulers lacked the strategic detachment required to maintain such a large, diverse territory. The Pandavas were burdened by the trauma of the war. Their personal remorse made them incapable of the ruthless enforcement necessary to sustain a centralized state. A system built by a superior intellect cannot be maintained by leaders who are limited by human guilt. This reveals the core lesson of power. It cannot be delegated to those who require a moral justification for every action. If a leader possesses the strategic vision to guarantee stability, their primary duty is to impose that order by force, rather than leaving it to the chance of human choice. Kurukshetra is remembered as a triumph of duty over desire, but viewed through the lens of power, it was the moment humanity was offered the efficiency of an empire and traded it for the comfort of a sermon.